list. We'll have a YouTube playlist for you to refer that. Please go through these videos multiple times, because a lot of information will be shared on these videos. That would be effective for you to do your interviews as well as your studies. The studies will happen in Trailhead. So that for the people who are joining first time, the official material of Salesforce is all available in trailhead.salesforce.com. So please sign up using your LinkedIn account. If you are facing any problem in doing these things, there is a dedicated mentor for you for every day, all hours. Her name is Angshita. Feel free to call her. You have Angshita's number on your WhatsApp group, and get a session with her and get to understand if you are stuck somewhere. She would be your first point of contact for any technical problems which you are facing for your course learnings and anything, for your assignments, anything. Yeah. If she's not able to resolve it, probably she will bring me into the picture, and we'll get that sorted out. So sign up to salesforce.trailhead. There are 3 trails we are going to complete. One is called admin beginner, admin intermediate, and admin advanced. Please make sure that you are every week you are studying these trails before you are joining this course, because this course is also the place wherein you will ask questions for all the problems or any business part. In this trailheads, you will do how, you will cover the part of how to do things, how to configure in Salesforce. How part we will minimize, will not cover in our video sessions. In video sessions, probably the most important part which we cover is why part, why this is used, why that is not used, when to use when. So why and when this part is the main focus of discussion in these video sessions. But how that feature you need to use, that is a hands-on practice, which is a self-study, which we think you can cover using these 3 course materials. So please, in order to save time, we will not go into how much. A little how will be there, but very fast. But the main focus of these videos will be why and when, to understand the business reason, why that feature is used, and when to use that feature. Is there any best practices for that feature to use? And if there are multiple options to implement the same thing, then which to use when. Yeah. So same things can be done multiple ways in many things. So you have to make sure, we will tell you when to use when to use what. So why and when part on the videos, how part is on your own home task through the trails. Please make sure that you are in line and you are covering this as fast you can cover these. The video sessions will make more benefits for you. If you are not fast enough covering these trails, then you have to run these videos again to understand many of the concepts which will be difficult for you to catch in the videos. We will run very fast. So we need your total commitment in order to be running in the same speed as we are doing it. Yeah. So let's get into Salesforce. Is primary, the CRM technology. CRM is customer relationship management. Every business nowadays needs a CRM. Every business. Why it is needed? Because it will store your customer information. A business without the knowledge of your customer, what is the problem if you do that? The main problem is that you cannot identify people who are coming to you for service. They will come to you and say that you sold me this product, but this is bad. I have a problem on this. Whenever you are hearing this kind of things, you need a traceability to understand when did this customer purchase this product. Does this product have a warranty? am I committed for that warranty? Do I need to provide any high quality service to this customer? Is this customer very important for me? All this information, all this history will make your brand loyalty with the customer and resale with your customer. So if you are not able to do resale for your customer and you have a very poor reputation in business because your existing customer not happy with you, then you probably will not, your business will never grow, right? So to give the optimal service for service and again to give upselling or reselling, that means I want to sell to that customer again and again. I want that customer to be loyal to me. I want this customer to be engaged with me for years. In that case, a CRM kind of a tool is absolutely essential, which will help you achieve that goal. Now the CRM, saving your customer information is not very difficult. You can use an Excel sheet to store your customer information, save it in your system. But then what is the problem? If your software or dedicated software is not there for storing your customer information, then relating of data is a huge pain, right? You cannot relate data. Which order is with which customer, traceability, understanding those, because you will probably store the customer names in one Excel sheet. You will store the order information in another Excel sheet. You will store the payments in another Excel sheet. You will store leads in another Excel sheet. That is a problem, right? Relating that data, which lead converted to customer, which customer ordered, what was ordered, what products were ordered, in what quantity it was ordered. All this information, tracing that, connecting this data together will be a huge problem if you do not have a dedicated software to do that. That is where Salesforce comes in. Salesforce manages all this data and connects this data and gives you a meaningful UI so that you can create new data and use the existing data for providing sales and service. Primarily, these two are the business functions operations which we are covering. In a sales process, we basically have marketing, then we have sales, then we have service. That means first you are promoting your brands and products to your people. Then there is somebody who is going and selling that and the customer is providing you an order. When the order is already done, then you provide best services to that customer so that the customer again purchases, or if he is facing any problem with these existing products, then you are providing him royalty service, the warranty services and so on. Right? So these are the major three functions of any business. Marketing we are not covering in this course. We will only focus on sales and service. And these are the core business area of Salesforce. Salesforce is not only CRM now. Salesforce also has marketing. Salesforce has other wings also, all possible. But we'll not get into those advanced stuff. Salesforce will just see the tip of the iceberg. We'll see the basic sales and service in our course. And that is a good foundation for you, yeah, to begin your journey into Salesforce. Any questions so far? Feel free to ask questions. Hello? Because this is the
hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello. Animesh, I would like to. I have joined today itself a few minutes back. So can you just repeat once again what you have told a little bit, not elaborately?
Yeah. I have recorded the session. You can refer this back if you want.
Okay.
So I will share the link. So this part which you have missed is that it is just introductory. It's not something which will be very difficult for you to, because you are already coming from that background. It's all basics of sales and service.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So the real thing begins now. The business is basically of two types. One is B2B. And one is B2C. Primarily, there can be other fractions also. We will not discuss that. We'll keep it simple. What is business to business? So B2B is business to business. And B2C is business to customer. Right? Rapti is already from the sales background, so it is quite easy for her to answer. But I want the other people who are completely seeing sales and service as new to take chances and let me know What do you mean by business to business and business to customer? Sujit, you want to give a try?
Sorry, sir.
You want to give a try? What do you mean by business to business and business to customer?
Business to business means if a business is selling a product or any kind of service to another business, then it will be called as business to business. If an organization or a business is selling something, a service or a product to a customer directly, then it will be called as business to customer.
Very good. So to simplify its terms, when a company or an organization is selling products to another company or organization, then it is called business to business. When a company or organization is selling these products to an individual, not on behalf of a company, in that case, we will talk it as a business to, we'll consider that as a business to customer. Okay. Primarily, Salesforce will be used in this category. Business to customer is normally, because Salesforce is too costly for retail kind of a market. So a business to customer deal, usually business to business is the main area wherein Salesforce will be utilized. So we will focus our whole scores on business to business, but we'll also see sometimes what is the difference if you are doing a business to customer, you are selling directly to customer, right? So now, who will purchase Salesforce? There are two things, right? There is a seller and there is a buyer. Who do you think is purchasing Salesforce? The seller or a buyer? Anybody wants to give it a try? Who needs a CRM? A buyer needs a CRM or a seller?
Seller. The seller.
Seller needs a CRM, right? For seller, the buyer is the customer, isn't it? This is the customer. So seller wants to store the information of his buyers, right? So seller will go and purchase Salesforce. When it purchases Salesforce, Salesforce is just a cloud tool. Cloud tool means it's a subscription-based software. That means it's quite similar to Gmail or Google Docs or like Netflix, right? So you are going and creating an account. That's it. You only need a browser, right? An internet connection and a browser. That means a Chrome is fine for you. So you can run the software. You don't have to install anything on your desktop, right? Just internet connection on your phone also, you can use it. Salesforce is greatly utilized on phones. So what you need, the Salesforce seller is the org or organization. That is the company. And we'll see this. So the person, the seller, will first create a org. That means inside Salesforce, think about Gmail, right? Everybody of you will have a Gmail account, isn't it? You will have a user ID and password. Now, if I log into gmail.com, you also log into gmail.com. Does say Gmail take me to your inbox or somebody else's? If they log in, do they take it to my inbox? Will that ever happen?
No.
Never this will happen, right? Your inbox is safe because Salesforce is basically connecting your inbox with that login, isn't it? So think about that inbox as org. So Salesforce org is a special kind. Think about a flat. A flat have many, like a building has many flats, right? Flat 1, flat 2, flat 3, flat 4. And this is the whole tower, tower 1, right? So Salesforce will have this tower and every flat will belong to a different company, right? And this whole flat is probably using some common services. What is the common services? Maybe the water tank, right? Flat 1 is also using the same water tank. Flat 2, this whole tower is having one water tank, right? So this is a shared service. Electricity, probably. All the flat is using electricity.
Yeah.
Maybe there is a 1 meter only for the whole flat. It's possible, right? Usually we'll have separate meters, but yeah, think about it that way. So it's a shared, some of the things like a staircase, that is common, right? Everybody's managing it. Then the terrace, probably it is also common, right? It's not, does not belong to somebody specific. So there are common things which are there, which is utilized by all these tenants. We call these tenants or the renters, bhada, the people who are giving rent, right? Or people who have purchased it. Don't worry. One-time purchase is not a model of like Salesforce. So we'll think this as a tenant or a person who is paying rent every month, because subscription service is quite similar, right? So think about all these flats, and there is a separate person on rent in every flat, and basically they are using some common services, and they are also having this address for in their own, but this is completely private for them. Flat 2 cannot see what is happening in flat 1, right? Or right. They cannot interfere. They cannot, the flat 1 can go ahead and change their wall colors to red or green or blue. Flat 2 cannot say that, why did you make changes on your wall? They cannot do that, right? Because this is the private space for everybody. So think an org as a flat. So inside the whole server, Salesforce server, this org is a special boundary wherein only that org employees, these seller employees, can share each other's data. That's it. Any, like seller 1 will have org 1, seller 2 will have org 2. Both may be using the same server, but that does not mean the employee of seller 1 can see the records of the employees of seller 2. Perfectly separated out. Both of them will be logging to Salesforce as logging.salesforce.com. But the seller 1 employees will work with some set of data which is not visible to the other seller. Clear? Yes. Any questions so far or any confusion?
No, sir.
Good. So let's now work out on this once again. So think about 2 companies. I will now start creating some companies which will make a little more sense. So let's start creating a company. So first, org was created by Reebok. Reebok is the company who has Salesforce now. Reebok is selling shoes and caps to another company here. We are talking about B2B business, right? So Reebok is selling shoes and caps to another company. Let's think about TCS. TCS has an event, marathon event, on which TCS, there is a branded logo of TCS. So TCS has is going for 200 shoes and 200 caps. That is the order TCS will placing to Reebok, and they are saying that, please give me that this order. I will distribute to my employees, isn't it? Yeah. So this is a typical example of our business to business situation. So Reebok has its own org in Salesforce. Reebok has employees, many employees. Like Rapti is one of the employee of Reebok. Korotowa is another employee of Reebok. These 2 people, let's think Rapti as the salesperson. Let's think Korotowa as service person. Now TCS has employees also, right? Let's see, Animesh is the employee of TCS, and Shobhanjit is also another employee of TCS. Right? Okay. Are you making sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So Salesforce is the org. Rapti and Korotowa are the employees of Reebok. In Salesforce, we store the employees of the org because these people will be using actually Salesforce, right? These are the people who are using Salesforce.
Yes.
Right? So basically, these are the users. Okay.
I mean, they, one minute. I mean, they are selling Reebok through Salesforce, right?
Selling is a different process. They are tracking that whole sales using Salesforce. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
The software is used to enable business.
Okay.
Right.
So basically, it's a software that's been given to Reebok for TCS, or it's been used for all the companies. I mean,
Reebok will sell for TCS and Cognizant also. Cognizant has 2 other employees, Gorgo and another. Maybe Cognizant is also doing the same event. Cognizant has ordered 300 shoes and 300 caps.
Okay. Nah, but this Salesforce can be used in both the buyers.
Same Salesforce now will store all the customer information. Here, how many customers are there? TCS is number 1 customer. Cognizant is number 2 customer. We'll see that. Yeah. But the same Salesforce instance or the same Salesforce software will be used for n number of sales, n number of customers. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And this whole thing will be recorded in Salesforce in the same instance of Salesforce. And these will be recorded by Rapti and Korotoa will be working in Salesforce. And they will be basically storing all the information of the sales and service. I will come to that. So these people will be the original people who will log into Salesforce. So login.salesforce.com will be the people. Who are the people? The sales representative or the service representative of that company are basically the users of that org. Clear? We are storing all the employees or even maybe the CEO of the company. Maybe the CEO of the company is the owner, right? Even owner is also a user. So owner will also log in. Yeah. The CEO is also a user. Clear? Yes. So all of these guys will be using Salesforce. All of these guys will be logging into Salesforce. All of these guys can see each other's records. Otherwise, they will not be able to work, right? So that is the only difference. Think about a common inbox like a Gmail, wherein 3 or 4 people can log into and they can see each other's mail. That never happens because you are doing an individual account, right? But here it is a shared account. It is shared. So all these 3 people will log in and they can see each other's record. We'll see what are the records, what data you can see with each other that we are talking about. But let's first understand the first table, which is storing information in Salesforce, is the user table. Think table as an Excel sheet. Simple. So there are two rows in that table. One is Rapti and one is Korotoa. Right? Those are users. So this is stored in Salesforce. What other information is stored in Salesforce? The customer information, right? So how do we store that in customer? So this is buyer side we are talking about, right?
Yes.
And not in like this is buyer is the customer. First table that stores the name of the companies is called account. All the buyer will be separate rows in this table. So think about this table. What are the basic information needed to be stored? Tell me. Who can give me an example? Name of that company?
Yeah.
Bare minimum, right?
It's
company name.
Bare minimum is the name of the company, right? This is the mandatory field which is needed. The other information, if you have, you do it, very good. But it doesn't matter. It can be a 1-column table. Name is the most important part which you need. Who is your customer, right? TCS is the company name which I am storing. Where are we storing the employees of that customer? Why do I need to even store the employee of the customer or employee of this account? So this is account 1, this is account 2, right? And there can be account 3 also, maybe Wipro. I am also selling to Wipro. So seller is what? Reebok is the seller. Reebok is not stored in this table. Please remember this.
Yeah.
It is only the buyer. Yes. So seller will always be 1. Buyer will be multiple. Every seller will have a separate Salesforce org. Okay. And that is private information. One buyer will not share their data to another buyer. sorry, one seller will not share their information to another seller. Otherwise, it will be competition, right? And why it will not share, we'll talk into details about it later. But the idea is Salesforce will keep this information completely separate and hidden. Two sellers' information cannot be seen by each other. But one seller, we are talking about all in one seller. This is all inside one seller's org. Okay, what we are seeing. So there is one table which is storing all the buyers for that seller. TCS, Cognizant, and Wipro are the three customers, companies. And I also need to store Animesh and Sovan. So there is another table to store the employees of my buyer. That table is called contact. What is the bare minimum information I need to store?
Name, their contact numbers.
First name, last name, Animesh, Banerjee, Shovanjit, Ghosh. Phone another number may or may not be available to me. Does not matter. Last name is mandatory in Salesforce. You can even not have first name. Many people in many countries don't have a first name. So it does not matter. Last name is mandatory for storing or creating a contact information. So this table, at least you can create a new row, or you can store your information of your customer contact using last name itself. Phone number, email ID, if you get, very well, you update it. Those columns are also there. But a crucial piece of information is missing here, right? How do I know Animesh belongs to TCS, Shobhanjit belongs to TCS, and maybe Gorgo belongs to Wipro? How will I know that?
You have to put the company name beside.
Yes. We do not put a company name beside it. We connect that. Okay. So every table will have a ID field or like a unique identifier or identifier. Identifier, think about identifier as Aadhaar card.
Okay.
Everybody of us has an Aadhaar card, right?
Yes.
Why that is needed? Because Rapti Ganguly can be another one also, right? Another person can also be named Rapti Ganguly. How will you differentiate between two Rapti Gangulys? Maybe the Aadhaar card number, maybe the passport ID, passport difference. These are different, right? So this is the easy way of identifying a person uniquely. That is why this company will be uniquely identified by the ID. This ID is generated by Salesforce itself. You don't have to bother.
Okay.
But this ID, what has been generated by Salesforce, this needs to be put here. Then only I will understand that this contact is basically related to this company, right? Any questions so far?
Acha, one thing. This buyer can be, let's see, if I am from Reebok company, from Salesforce, okay, I have this company like TCS Cognizant. Same another seller from Salesforce can go for this company, or
of course. They, in that case, in their org, this TCS Cognizant will be stored in their account table, but you can't see their account table.
But those IDs will be different.
Absolutely, it will be different.
I mean, they can't see what my record is there.
Correct. That's correct.
What details or still now what I have given to them, they can't see my record, right?
See. Yes. Seller one's company's account and contact information, the seller two cannot see.
That is fine. But the same company can be, Salesforce can sell, different person can sell the same company from Salesforce, right?
Here, Salesforce is not in picture at all in the sales process. Please remember, Reebok is selling shoes and caps to TCS. Salesforce is just an enabler for the business. Salesforce is just giving a software to track your sales.
That is fine. But under Salesforce, let's see 5 or 6 person is working. I have provided something to TCS, right? From Reebok. TCS can be another person's customer also. Did you understand what I have said?
No. Can you repeat?
let's see if I think 9 or 10 is now doing classes with you. From there, if 2 or 3% giving a seller, like a buyer, like TCS or Cognizant, the same items or different items, but these buyers can be the customers for 2 or 3 sales organizations.
Does not matter. Salesforce, what we are discussing right now is on behalf of one seller only. Right now, you are inside the org of a seller. Don't worry about other sellers because you cannot see. You think yourself as an employee of Reebok itself. That's it.
Okay.
You don't care what is happening in Nike. We are not bothered. We are now discussing what is happening inside Reebok.
Achha.
Okay. Nike might be selling to TCS on Cognizant, but Nike has its own employees. They will be logging into Nike environment and they will see their data. Okay. You are an employee of Reebok. You will never go and you can see the data of Nike, right? Nike will not allow you to even get into their office. Forget your software login. Isn't it?
Right. Yeah.
That is it. So you think now yourself, everybody as a student in this class, please think yourself to be a user of one org, only one org. Think that Reebok is paying your bills. Reebok is giving you salary. Okay. So if Reebok is giving your salary, then you are only seeing the data of Reebok. You are the employee of Reebok. Right? So either you are selling to on behalf of Reebok, or you are providing service on behalf of Reebok, or there can be you are might be the owner of Reebok, or what another kind of users be possible. The other kind of users which is possible in Reebok is all you guys after this class is over. That means you become Salesforce administrators who are the managers of the software. The managers or the technical people are not selling. They are not providing service. They are also not owning the business, but they are actually the people who are managing this software.
Right.
Right. So that is called technical people. All the technical administrators, system administrators are also users. They are also employees of Reebok. Clear? Okay, so now you are thinking you after this course are supposed to become the system administrators. That means the technical people. First, we need to understand the business well. Then only you can give support to the sales people and service people, right? So first you understand what a salesman and service person does in Salesforce. Then only you can make it better for them, isn't it? Okay, so now we have seen two tables. Salesforce provide these tables automatically. There are two tables, account and contact. So all the company information we are storing in account table. All the employees of those contacts we are storing in contact table. We are associating each contact with account. You see? So this is a one-to-many relationship, right? One account can be related to multiple contacts. Here, Animesh and Shobhan are related to TCS. Gorga is related to Cognizant, right? And there can be more people also. So one account will be related to multiple contacts, isn't it?
Yes.
So let's see this. So there are two tables we have discussed till now. One is account table, wherein we are storing companies. Where there is a contact table wherein we are storing the employees of companies. We call these employees of companies. So individuals, right? We are storing the individuals. So, and this is one-to-many relationship. We denote it this way. This is one, and this is three-prong at this. So it will be one-to-many. N does not mean many. It cannot be. Many people ask me why it is not A is to M. It's not. It is a short form of many. N means it can be one. It can be 0, 1, 2, 3. till n, any number. That is why it is called one-to-many. Clear, guys? So far? Any questions? So there are two tables we have seen, one-to-many relationship. Now, where do we store the deal? That means the order. Salesforce gives another table that is called opportunity. What is the relationship between account and opportunity? Is it one-to-one, one-to-many, or many-to-many? Anybody wants to give a try?
Sir, I think one-to-many.
Which side is one?
Account.
One-to-many. Why one-to-many and why not one-to-one? Why not many-to-many?
Because one company can have multiple orders or multiple deals.
Absolutely. So TCS can be ordering multiple times. Maybe they have ordered in January. Maybe they have ordered in February. Maybe they have ordered in March. 3 orders, right? Order 1, order 2, order 3. Similarly, TCS Cognizant has ordered for in January, February, and March. So one company can have multiple orders. Any questions so far? So one-to-many relationship again. So opportunity. So shoes and caps. Where are we storing that? There is a table called product in Salesforce.
Right.
This will also have store name. Bare minimum information is name, right? Shoe and cap. So there is a table to store shoes and cap. Okay. Now, let's move from, let's think about Reebok itself. Can a same shoe have different price? The same shoe can have different price?
No.
Are you sure?
Same shoes can be different price if its color is different only. Yeah, it can be the same price. Only if colors matters. But if variety is different, the prices automatically will differ.
No, I'm talking about the exact same shoe. Exact same shoe, same color, same thing. Same model.
Yeah, it can differ also.
How? Give me an example.
Basically, when I am working here, if it's a 6 months back collection, it's the same collection, but manufacturing date is different. Then the price is, I think, little bit later.
That is a discounting option. Let's think about the same day, and at the same day, same model of the shoe can have a different price.
No, I think no.
Anybody else who wants to give a try?
Yes, can be the same product can have different prices.
Give me an example.
If I mean there is a festive season and we are going to buy some product, then it will have some discount. So irrespective
festive season, are you talking about? Festive season will be uniquely across the whole country, right? So what is the problem? Are you saying that only a festival is happening in one shop?
One more thing, Animesh. If it can be buy in a wholesale lot, I mean, if a buyer is going for one piece, then I mean, when we are dealing directly to the customer, then the price can be different. But
so that is the selling price. I'm not talking that. I'm talking about listing price, the list price. Can the list price be different? Let's think about. Let me give you an easy example. So when you go to a restaurant, right? How do you understand this restaurant has what dishes? How do you know that what
menu card, price list.
So think about this as a menu. So another table is there in Salesforce to store menu card. Now my question is, can a business, can a restaurant have multiple menu cards or only one menu card?
Only one in one restaurant.
Only one in one restaurant, correct. So if I have multiple restaurant chains, maybe the menu card is different for the same product, right?
For different restaurant, it can be different.
Yes.
It has to be different.
Yes.
And their price list will also be different.
Yes. That means the same product, maybe chicken biryani, but maybe in Kolkata, that chicken biryani is selling in $200 rupees. But in maybe in Delhi, it is selling in 500 rupees. Possible?
Right.
It depends on the quality.
Not quality. It is the same product. That I am clearly mentioning. It depends on region. Where are you selling?
Geographical regions.
Geographical region. So think about it. For Reebok context, let's come back to Reebok. There are two menu cards. One is for India, one is for USA. Clear? India price is 200 rupees. And USA price is $20. Possible? Same shoe.
Right. It will be different. Yeah.
Right. So there are two menu cards. Right. One is India. There are two menus. I have created two menus for the same shoe, same cap. India and USA. I have created two menus. Menus are stored in Salesforce in another table, which is called price book. Okay. Again, okay. This is the name field, right? To store the name of the menu. So I have an India price book. I have a USA price book. Now product and cap is there. So there are two products, two menu cards, India menu card, USA menu card. Now the price of the shoe and cap, the price will go where? In the product table or the menu table?
Price. The menu table.
Menu table,
so
right.
If I menu table, the price will be there. So I give 2,000 rupees here. This is the price of what? Shoe or cap?
That is confused, and we have to create one more table. One more list in that.
Confusion, right?
Yeah.
If I put a price here, then I don't know this is for India or USA, right?
Yes.
Problem, right? So this is, now first let's see what is the relationship between a product and menu. Is it one-to-one or many-to-many or one-to-many? What is the relationship between product and menu? What do you think?
Sir, I think, one-to-many, and it's many-to-many. It can be.
What do you mean by many-to-many?
One product can have different menu cards, and one menu card can have different products.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. So let's see that. I have created another table. It's called product and it's called menu or price book, right? Shoe India, shoe USA, cap India, cap USA. Possible?
Yes.
If I create a table like this, where will I store the price? Which table? Let me draw this once again. So shoe India, shoe USA, cap India, cap USA. Which table will store the price?
The third one.
Yeah,
last
very
table.
easy, na? Shoe India, 2,000 rupees. Cap India, 3,000 rupees. Cap USA, $20. This is $30. So easy, right? So there is a many-to-many relationship between these two tables. In Salesforce, you cannot have directly many-to-many relationship between two objects in Salesforce. In order to create a many-to-many relationship between two objects, you have to create it via a mapping table, which is basically a one-to-many from both sides. Okay. How do I make it one-to-many? So what will this table also has ID. This table also has ID. So this is product 1, product 2. This is price book 1, price book 2. So here, what I will store, instead of storing again the same information, I will just connect it. I will say product 1, price book 1, product 2, price book 1, product 1, price book 2, product 2, price book 2. Easy enough?
Yeah.
So this becomes a one-to-many relationship from both sides, isn't it? So this table is called mapping table. Mapping table means one-to-many relationship from two tables, not one table. Account and contact is just one-to-many relationship. Contact is not a mapping table, but when there is a table which has a relationship from more than one table, that becomes a mapping table. Clear? Any questions, guys? I'm moving into some interesting concepts. If you're not understanding, please hold me here, because these are very good, important concepts which you need to be very thorough. Otherwise, you will not be able to get into technical. Technical part comes later. First, you have to understand what is basically happening. What is the data all about? Order. Order is back. So what is the table which is storing order? Opportunity, right? When you place an order, what orders are there? January, February, March. 3 orders are there. A very important information for ordering. What is the relationship between product and our order? Think about Flipkart. So, you place your orders, right? You choose your products, place your order, and check out, right? Flipkart or Amazon. I am sure everybody is ordering online nowadays. What do you do? What think about Zomato? I think Zomato is the better example. I have 200 people in my home today. I am ordering on Zomato. I am placing an order, right? What are crucial information, bare minimum information you need to give? Don't talk about your information. Your information already saved in Zomato. Where do you live? These information already. From your side, what information is needed for placing the order?
So the quantity.
I think you want to order and quantity.
Quantity. So where will I store the quantity? In the product table or the order table? Order table.
Order table.
Huh?
Order table.
Order table I will store 20. This 20 is shoe or cap?
The product name should be there.
So order is not storing the product name, right? Product name is stored in product table.
Yes.
So quantity will come here. If I say the quantity is here, then this belongs to which order?
Shoe.
Shoe 20.
But
which order? Belongs to which order?
But it's not understandable whether it is the order of January or February.
Absolutely. The same problem, right? Which we had with menu card and product, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So what was the solution?
We have to create one more table.
Simple. P1, O1, P2, O1, P1, O2, P2, O2, This is 20, 30, 40, 50 quantity here. Clear, guys?
Right.
Then again, this is one-to-many relationship, one-to-many relationship. That means there is a many-to-many relationship between product and order. Isn't it? One product can be in multiple orders. One orders can have multiple products. Simple. Many-to-many relationship means it is one-to-many from both sides. So how many tables did we discuss so far? Give me the names.
So in total, I think 6, 7.
Give me the names. Account, right?
Account.
Account stores what?
Company information.
Company. Which company?
I mean,
Sales force.
Buyer.
Buyer's company. Yeah.
Then wait, what other tables?
Contact.
Contact stores what?
Company's employee information.
Employees of buyers, right?
Yeah, buyers.
So when we talk about customers, basically we are talking about this together. A customer is basically account and contact together. Now a company with like Reebok is selling to TCS. TCS has 4 lakh employees. Will you create 4 lakh contacts?
No.
So how many contacts will you create? Only the people who are I am interested for my deal.
Okay.
Clear? So
Right.
people who are only involved in the deal or the ordering process, only those people I will add and create as contacts. Not every employee of my buyer. Clear?
Yes.
Because that is irrelevant information for me. They are not decision makers, neither I am interacting with them. I don't want to waste time with other people whom I am not interacting with. Right? I have, as a seller, I am very busy man. Isn't it? Now give me other tables.
Product.
Product store what? Items which I sell.
Items which we sell.
Right? Product. Very good. What other table I said?
Opportunity.
Opportunity stores what?
Deals
or orders, right?
Orders.
What other tables we talk about?
Menu.
Price.
Menu. Price book.
No, menu was not the name. Price book was the name, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So price book is what? It is the menu card. Right?
Yes.
What else?
Opportunity order.
Opportunity order.
Sorry.
Opportunity we already did. Is a
Yes.
deal or order, right? Opportunity we already listed. What other tables did we discuss? There was a common table, mapping table between product and opportunity.
Yes, a mapping
Yes.
table.
Mapping table is not the name. Mapping is a type of table. When there is a one-to-many relationship, like account and contact has a one-to-many relationship, right? When two objects have one-to-many relationship, the side which is one is called parent, and the side which has many is called child. Okay, because probably one parent can have multiple children, but one child will have multiple. It can be possible. Then you have like father and mother, right? So in that case, if there are two parents like father and mother, product and opportunity, mapping table is basically the child of two objects, right? So it is named after both. Unlike human beings, which is named after father only, it's not the case. Salesforce has said, please name it with both the objects. So what is the mapping table name of
Opportunity product?
Opportunity. Simple. That table is called opportunity. So we have talked about another table, mapping table between product and opportunity, which is called opportunity product. Why this table is important? This stores quantity, isn't it? There was another table which was between menu card and product, right? Which is a child of both these objects.
Yes.
What is that called? Price book. Should be called price book product.
Yes.
Instead, Salesforce has called it price book entry. Only exception in naming. Okay. Why this is important? Because here we store the price. We also talked about another table, which is storing information. Can somebody remember about that table?
Customer information.
User table.
User table.
It stores the employees of the seller, not the buyer. Yeah. And all the people who are logging into Salesforce are basically users, isn't it? So how many tables we talked? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? We'll talk about the 9th object now. So think about a seller cycle. What does a seller do? Imagine yourself as a seller. How will you start your day? You have got a new job. You have gone to office. You are a Reebok employee. You have to sell shoes and caps. What will you do? Sujit, what will you do?
Yes, sir.
You are a salesman of Reebok. Today
Yes.
is your start date. You are starting in the company today. You are the salesman.
Yes.
You have been given a menu card, right? You know what shoes Reebok is selling, what caps Reebok is selling, what is the selling price for these, right? That is there
Yes.
with now. But you are a salesman. What is your job?
To sell the products.
So sell the product to whom?
To the interested buyers. Yeah.
Yes. How will you find interested buyers?
Through marketing, through campaigning.
So if you are a salesman, do you
From
do marketing and campaigning?
No. I will get the information from marketing team.
Marketing team will give what?
The buyer's information.
Information who are interested.
My company is very small. I don't have marketing budget till now. There is no marketing team. What will you do?
Then,
You will wait for the marketing team to be available. Then only you will start selling.
No.
You will go door to door, right? You will go to offices.
Yes.
We will check the information. Already the customers who had bought from this group. We will check the information and we can give a call.
The existing salesman will kill you for that if you do that. The existing salesman will say, I will lose my job if you even contact my customer. Okay, you will be debarred. So not going to happen. You need to find a new customer. Yeah. What will you do? You will go to each office, right? Ask them, are you interested to purchase my product or not?
Yes, sir.
So in industry, if you approach 10 people, usually only one person buys. Right?
Yes.
So these 10 people are basically your prospective customer. They may or may not be prospective customer. And one becomes a customer, right? This is the industry usual rate, 10% conversion from prospective customer to customer.
Yes.
So you have to approach 10 people or 10 companies because you are doing by business to business. And then you can convert one probably. So this prospective customer information, does it make sense to store in Salesforce?
No.
Why?
because I mean, yes, sir, yes, sir. We need to store because in future maybe they will show interest in buying some other products.
Absolutely. So future in sales, it is said that when a prospective customer is selling no, that means not today. Okay. In sales, no means not today. It is very crucial that you store the information of your prospective customer first so that you can convert them later. Keep hitting them again and again so that they can finally get interested in you. One. Second is understand what these people need and analyze, can we be better in order to make them interested, right? Every company would like to enhance their conversion rate. So they want information that why these guys are not getting converted. What is the reason? Why they are not interested? Can you please log in? So to improving sales, you need to understand what is the failures. Otherwise, you cannot improve. So logging prospective customer is also important for this respect. So future prospect as well as understanding or failure analytics. Third and most important point, your boss will not pay you if you cannot show him what are you working throughout the day, right?
Yes.
How will your boss know that you are working on 10 people, right? Instead of one, if they are saying that I will only pay you for your converted customer, you're gone then, right? You are working on people. The whole day you are hitting people. When you are basically going to people and you are hitting this prospective customer, you are storing in a table called lead. Right?
Right.
A lead is an individual or a company? Lead is an individual. Lead is a person whom you approach, who is a representative of a company. If a lead is converted, if he is interested, then you convert that lead to an account, contact, and an opportunity option. If he is right now placing a deal, then it becomes an opportunity. May or may not. Account and contact. So what is the sales cycle? Sales cycle starts from lead. Then it is converted to a account and contact.
And opportunity.
And opportunity. Then you associate that with product, which is opportunity product. And this product is basically product is associated to price book. All the objects are now here, right? Product. This is price book entry. So all the tables of Salesforce, these all tables which Salesforce already provides, this cannot be deleted. These are called standard tables in Salesforce are called objects. From now on, we'll stop talking about tables. We'll talk about objects. In Salesforce, yes, all tables are called objects. Clear? In tables, there are row and columns, right? In a table is called object. Table has columns, right? If there is a column header, why column header is needed in a table? What if this column header is not there?
You cannot differentiate different customers. You need to go for the name and
why?
their.
We will call TCS. This is Cognizant. This is 987477986666. I will have this information in a table. Will that work? If I don't have a table header, will this work? And I will store only the data. TCS.
No, sir, it won't work.
It won't work, right? Because I don't know what is this data about. This is a company name. This I have to describe the data, right? It is very essential. Right. Then we have to say this is the company phone number. Is the website URL. So description of data is very important, right? Of a table. Otherwise, you cannot make sense out of that table. So these individual columns, headers in object is called fields. Okay. In fields, we store data. Right. Think about column. In a column, we will store data. So columns are called fields, and rows, individual rows. One whole row of data is basically representing a total entity information, right? A company's information or a contact's whole information, right? That row, whole row is called a record. So we will be using only these three terms from now on. Please remember this thoroughly. Otherwise, it will not make sense. Rows are records, columns are fields, tables are objects. If Salesforce is already providing the object to you, it is called standard object. If you are creating your own table, it's called custom object. You can also create your own table in Salesforce. Standard objects have standard fields. That means Salesforce has already created some fields for you. We will look at that. Custom objects also have standard fields. When you create a new standard custom object, Salesforce automatically creates some fields for you. We'll see this. In standard objects, you can create custom fields. Custom object, of course, you have created to create custom fields. Any questions so far? So all the 9 objects we discussed today, account, contact, opportunity, what kind of object is that?
Field or order.
Standard object. All these are object, account, contact, opportunity. These are all tables. Tables are objects. And since these tables are already given by Salesforce, these are standard objects. How do I see these tables? Quick, we will wrap up in next 5 minutes. So you log into trailhead.salesforce.com. If you go to this here, on that, you will go to hands-on org. You can create a playground if that is not there already. I have many playgrounds here, so I don't have to create a playground. But if you do not have anything, create a playground. Salesforce automatically creates a new Salesforce org for you. That means you become a seller and you also become a user. Otherwise, you cannot log in, right? So now I launch. When I launch, I get into Salesforce. This is the org which only allows you to create 2 users. One, you are only one user. You are a system administrator also. And there can be another user which you create. We will not cover this today. We are logging in as a sales agent or a service agent, right?
Right.
All the tables which we were discussing. See, account tables is here. How will you start with your day? A salesman will start his day how? He will go to lead. He will create a new lead. What is the mandatory information?
Last name.
Shobhanjit Ghosh. You see, mandatory information is given in red. And Shobhanjit Ghosh is basically the employee of Bong Bong. Right? This already has a value, so you don't have to give it. That is it. Create a lead. When you create a lead, these are the steps in which the leads can go through. Leads is opened. Now you can work on it. You click this and mark as the status. Think about that. I have just called my lead. I have given a phone call. So I will log a call. Why this is needed? I need to show my boss that I'm working on this lead, right? I'm trying to convert them. Called Shobhanjit and asked if he is interested in Bebop. This is activity which I am doing on my lead. Activity is also stored in a different table. I will discuss this later. You can send a mail also to Shobhan from here. You say that Shobhanjit Ghosh. Sir, thanks for your time. Okay. You can send a mail. You can also create a new task that I need to call this guy after 3 days. So I will call them in 26th. So future task is a reminder. This is automatically becoming a reminder. I can set up a meeting also. I say that I will have a meeting with this guy on this day. Everything you can, whatever you are working on this lead, on this person, you can track on Salesforce. And then what he says, get out of my room. That means not converted. Or he said, please come back tomorrow and let's start business. So then it becomes a converted lead. So if I change your status to converted, you see, these become an account. The company which I put there, I will create an account with BongBong, automatically Salesforce. The lead will become a contact and get associated with BongBong. And I can also say that there is a October opportunity of BongBong. So I'm creating 3 records in 3 different tables, 3 different objects. 1 record in account, 1 record in contact, 1 record in opportunity. You can directly go and create accounts also. If that is an existing customer, not in system, you can straight away go and create an account. You say TCS. You see, there is no other information needed, only the name. Isn't it? Same. You can go and create contacts from here. You can also create a contacts from here. Because why? Account and contact is parent and child relationship. All the childs are there in related list in this screen. This is how Salesforce works. Always the child will be there in the parent screen itself. You can go and create that in the individual objects also. Like opportunity, you can create from here, from contact also. We will create it from both places. So if I create the contact from here, so let's go to first BongBong. So if I go to account, now see, BongBong account was created. Shobhanjit Ghosh was a lead. Now it has become a contact, already associated. Maybe I want to now associate another guy who is the boss of Shobhanjit, and he's Animesh Banerjee. Let's not Animesh. Let's see Mahua. Mahua Ghosh. She's the boss of Shobhanjit. And the second contact we can create directly. Please remember, when I'm hitting a new button, you see account name is already filled up. If you are creating a contact from here, same thing. Think about Aditro Ghosh, who is the CEO of the company, maybe. Then you have to fill up the contact account from here. So you have to select either from here, or you have to type it BongBong here and it will show up. Then you save it and you go back to account here. From here also, again, go to contact. You see all the 3 contacts are now showing up here. So it does not matter. You create from here or not. If the relationship is there, then it will show up in the parent screen. Similarly, I have created the October contact. I can create an opportunity for, what is that? For November. When you are creating directly from opportunity from here, again, that account is already filled up for you. I have to give a close date and I have to give a stage. So I have now 2 opportunities, 2 orders. One is October. This is not closed, but the customer has not purchased till now. Opportunity doesn't mean their purchase has happened. Opportunity means there is an opportunity of purchase. The order may or may not actually happen. So if you go to this opportunity, usually salespeople will work on opportunity all the time. This is the deal. Deal will go through stages, just like lead went through, right? Deal will be qualified, need analysis, value proposition. You will provide quotations to customers. But before you do that, first, does it cover which products are we selling? This does not cover the products, right?
No.
So I have to attach the products. So here, I have to choose products. You can choose price book first. If you are selling in multiple countries, probably you will have different price books, right? USA will have a different price book. India will have a different price book. You have to choose a price book. But if you are only having one country, then automatic standard price book will apply for you. So you can skip this step. Otherwise, multiple, you see standard is already there. If there is only one price book, you don't have to choose price book. You can directly add product. Right now, I don't have multiple price books. I can choose this product and this product. This screen, which is showing the list price, this is showing the list price from which object?
Price book.
Price book is storing list price.
Price book entries.
Absolutely. But the mapping object between product and price book is the price book entry. That is storing the price, right? So this is basically price book entry and the screen from which I am selecting the prices and products. Next. Now it is asking for quantity. So I will give 10 here, 20 here. These are the two products and I am specifying quantity and the price is coming already populated from the price book entry, right? This will store where? Which object? Where do we store quantity?
The opportunity product.
Opportunity product, of course. The child object between opportunity and product is opportunity product. Therein we share the quantity and we save it. So this is the child object. And these products, this is basically opportunity product. So now I have added two objects. It is rolling up, you see. If you go to details, it is already showing me the amount expected revenue. Now I can close the deal. If the customer is happy with me, he has placed the order, it is closed won. If customer says get out, I am not interested, then the deal is lost. This is how a salesman will use Salesforce. Clear? Salesman, not the serviceman. How the service people will use, we will see that very late in our class. Please remember, this is the app. Just like in mobile, you have different apps. The app on which you are using in Salesforce, this is the sales app. This is the app launcher, just like a app launcher of your mobile phone. There are several apps here. Out of that, you are only using the sales app. Sales app is the app which is the salesman is using. Similarly, there is a service app. This app will be used by the service people. We'll talk about this later. Clear, guys?
Yes.
Any questions? Play around, have fun. This session will be recorded and will be shared on the WhatsApp. Please go to that again and start your Trailhead admin beginner if you have already not done it. Thanks for joining the call today. Have a nice day ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much.